Well, good morning, everybody. How are you? Excellent answer. It's a good way to start.
You said not to sleep, but I did.
You did? That's not good. You were supposed to be thinking about everything last night. So this is what we did last night. And who was not here? Oh. But anyway,
You have to go back through everything.
you didn't miss. Yeah, you didn't miss anything. But basically, I think the new part that I really wanted to impart to you is the approach to training, which is the 3 C's, right? Connection, comfort, and choice. And I listened to a podcast this morning, and it had a quote from Viktor Frankl in it. Viktor Frankl, some of you are nodding. He was a Holocaust survivor, and he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And it's all about how he, used his inner strength and developed that to survive everything and not judge, and he's a saint basically. Anyway, so he had a quote on choice, and I just happened to hear it this morning, and I thought, how appropriate. So he says, see if I can remember it. He said, between stimulus and response, there's a pause. In that pause lies choice, and in that choice lies freedom. Write that down. Because I'm still trying to figure out the easiest ways to teach you to train horses in giving them choice. And it's not choice between heaven and hell. It's choice to get into harmony with you, to get into harmony with your ideas, to join you in whatever it is you want to do. And a lot of people over the years have used kind of a heaven and hell choice. Well, I'm giving him a choice. If he goes over there, I'll smack him. And if he goes over here, I'll smile. And pretty soon they go, I don't want to go where you're smacking me. I want to go where you smile. But that doesn't necessarily connect them to you. It connects them to the task. But how do you get the connection to you where you get a conversation with the horse that is really rich? So I thought why this quote was so powerful and how it's helping me to explain things to you is that what's missing a lot of the time is pause. That we don't pause. And it's, I think, also easier to do things on the ground where we, give the horse a choice and then we pause and see what they will do. But it's much harder to do it when we're riding. And seeing as this clinic is more focused on riding, we're going to really explore that, very strongly. Because when you can do that, then your riding experience with your horse is amazing. And horses love it because, they feel a certain sense of freedom. And horses, like us, but especially horses, are so afraid of traps. And, why they're afraid is because there's no freedom. Right? There's the philosophy lecture for the morning. All right. So, many of you, most of you, if not all of you, have studied with me before. And I always want to hear about your problems and your goals. But I want to start with your goals today. What are your goals for this weekend? These 4 days. What are you hoping to achieve? Yes.
I've already thought about this a lot.
Excellent, Stacey.
So there's 3 C's, but particularly the choice thing that you're talking about. But how to do that and stay soft and light. You're like, so we do the not this, not that, and those kinds of things, but also just do it softly and light.
Excellent.
Without getting stuck in my own trap of I want you to do this.
How do we say that? Non-demanding? Like I think of it as an invitation to collaborate rather than a demand to do it.
Yeah. Making that transition to all the stuff that you've been talking about to change my thinking and how to present the choice. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. You're in the right place because that's what it's going to be all about. So how to collaborate, invite collaboration instead of demand. Now, it doesn't mean we don't have obedience. That has to start. But once you've got obedience, that's where it has to evolve.
That's the line that I'm struggling
Yes.
with, is that area of obedience versus
Sure. You're the only person on the planet that has that problem.
no.
Right there with you. This is to me, this is the secret, you know?
I
And
think it's the big piece of what's been missing.
yeah, your horse is going to love you even more at the end of this.
I want to focus on more awareness on me as a rider. I'm finding as we're getting more into the finesse that I have to be able to isolate all my different body parts separately and be aware. I've realized that I have some body parts that mimic one another, even I don't want them to, or I don't know that they're doing that. And when you get into finesse, I'm telling my horse multiple things, and I'm not aware of that. So I'm really struggling. I really want to be more body aware.
Yep. It's critical. You know, I was coaching Courtney, my protege, the other day, and she struggles with haunches in.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but I've been trying to help her with it, and she'll get it, and then she loses it. She gets it, and she'll lose it. And she goes like, what's really my problem? And I said, body control. You're not controlling your body. You're letting the horse control your body. You can't do that. Have you ever danced with a man and you start leading? Boy, do they get mad. At least mine did. You don't even know you're leading. It's taken over. It's like, hey. Oh, but that happens to us with our horses. You know, they start moving our body and we don't really realize. And then before we know it, the thing's a disaster, right? So that body awareness and body control, for sure, is a big piece of good riding. Christian.
Those are all things that I started the year wanting to do, and then he got Lyme and some complications from that. So I'm trying to actually get him to be okay moving his body, even though he's anticipating maybe some hurt. And there may still be some pain. So recognizing where is that threshold between it's okay, like maybe it's relaxation, maybe it's comfort that I'm trying to help him find. But that's a whole new plane for me.
Okay, how do we, like, what do I write?
I know. I tried to, like, maybe, so it's rethinking.
Knowing limits, knowing thresholds?
Yeah, but also inviting him to try something that he may say, because he anticipates, he'll be like, you asked me to do that and it hurt last time, I'm not going to do it. How can I reframe?
I'm going to make that a problem. So it's resistance to your idea, and then knowing what's the root of the resistance. Is it pain?
Yes, or is it a difference of opinion?
Is it dominance?
Right.
Is it tension? Right. Okay. I'm going to put origin of resistance. And I mean, this is a big thing, because if you don't think about the origin of the resistance, you're just going to force the horse. And, you know, we see that everywhere. And then horses have mental, emotional, and physical problems because of that. And so to me, mindful riding and mindful horsemanship is to think about it, go, why is this potentially happening? And now how could I change that? It's great. Very good.
Obedience without defensiveness.
Would we call it willingness then?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's an LBI. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, got it.
Got it. I knew you would.
And I know what to do too.
I know you did.
Because this, I turned the page, but choice is huge.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Well, we're going to give you some new keys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feeling or getting connection in the saddle versus the ground.
Yes, connection in the saddle. Because it's easy when, you know, a horse can look you in the eye and, you know, connect with you like that. But when you're riding, what does that feel like? How do you know when you have it, when you don't have it? Excellent.
Just kind of keeping a flow. Like I tend to get, I'm doing this movement.
and then, oh, it's done. Like I don't have that following kind of, you can do it, but still, yeah, I get crazy.
Like
I just-
fluidity.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll write fluidity. It's the worst word to use. It really is descriptive. But when I did fluidity years ago, people would come up to me and they'd go, I love your fluidity program. You know, fluidity. They could never say it, but it's the right word. Fluidity. Easy. I mean, the harder we try, the stiffer we get, you know. So learning how to lead the dance is really the key.
My goal is to the same as Stacy's, like all people always who are not horse people, they look at me and Pax when we walk or do anything, and they're like, "Oh, he's so connected to you, and he loves you, and you look beautiful together." And I just think that he's always been so obedient since the beginning,
Mm.
and I really want to find that spot where I can find him, give him a choice, and have a discussion.
Really get
on
connection.
that level.
Mm-hmm.
So not just the connection, but in everything. That he has the harmony of it. Yeah, the harmony of it. That he can have a discussion with me without us fighting with each other.
Conversation.
I think we're all looking for the harmony of our horses.
That's right. That's why we're here.
But I just want to know when it's there. So I mean, how can I give him a choice without letting him go and like taking over? And I'm sure when I find that, then it will be easier to do all the fancy stuff, because then it's easier for me to move him.
For sure.
I've got a couple of good moments with that every now and then, and it feels really good.
Yeah.
But how to? Well, I guess it takes a long time to develop so that it becomes more like automatic or natural, maybe. I don't know. Well, every day you pull a horse out of a paddock, it could be a different horse.
Exactly.
There's always something different going on.
Yeah. And they're checking
Figure
us.
it out.
They're checking us. If we're a bubble off that day,
Where are you today? And to
forget it.
to
Yeah.
add to that energy part we talked about yesterday. So that we always think about like body language.
Energy
But
management.
I don't know well enough how to interpret his energies and match it. Or I don't know if we need to match it. Every now we can have a conversation about that maybe.
Yeah. A lot of people think matching energy is physical, but it's more mental than anything. And, you know, it's like my idea is stronger than your idea is usually where it has to be, because horses have very strong ideas and sometimes we don't. And so then it's like horse goes, especially if they're left brain.
Yeah, so I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And put it
Awesome.
in my brain.
Super.
Other than all those things, we continue to work, and we haven't got there yet, is the response. Can you respond to my light aids, which
It's conditional.
is a choice that he has. Yeah, I find that if I get him more,
It's up here in light. Keep going.
if I get him out of his dull mode, get his energy up, then he responds better. But it's an ongoing battle with him. Sandy says he's dull. But I really would like to see not having to use the stick or whip or whatever
Yep.
as much, that he just responds when I
Yep.
ask him to.
So a lot of people think dull is physical, but what is it really? It's mental. Because they don't put any effort into. And why don't they put effort in, you know? Why do you think? What's that?
Nothing in it for them.
Yeah, there's nothing in it for them. They don't know the purpose. They don't have a choice. We end up pushing them instead of saying, you know, you got to step up and do this. I'm not going to work harder than you. Good.
So
That's,
that's where he's got to meet me halfway.
absolutely. And you have to learn how to ask for that without making him do it.
I think I just want to be relaxed and connected with my horse. I think that once I get that connection in the saddle, it'll be much more harmonious.
Oh, yeah.
The two of us together. When I have those moments of connection,
Yep.
it's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing that keeps us going. It's like, oh, I gotta have it again. I gotta. It's like it's the gateway drug. Very good, Dana.
My goal is to up my leadership and be clear, but the way I feel that you see that is when you're in rhythm and balance and harmony guiding. So I really try to focus on, do I have rhythm? Do I have balance? Do I have harmony?
Yep.
And I feel a whole lot of stuff happening
Yeah, like now.
like this, like that.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Sandy?
So mine is on that paint horse of mine to go from freestyle canter to with contact and not lose the softness in me or him. Like how can we
As you're cantering, to go from loose reins to picking him up into contact. Okay.
kind of where we're
Mhm.
at right now? He loses that softness.
Mhm. Great. It's a pretty good list. Do you have any actual tasks, like the canter or leg yields, flying changes?
all the above.
Congratulations.
Everything on that list and more.
Well, and can I just add into so again with that line piece, there's also some sacral like fascia thing going on that I'll talk to you about later.
Mhm.
But so his left lead canter has always been his most reliable, and
Mhm.
he can't pick it up right now.
Mm.
He'll offer up the right lead,
Mhm.
he'll counter canter, and that was always his hard lead.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he'll offer a canter, but he's really struggling, and that's
Mhm.
because of I think that resistance part to that is a pain related.
It could be.
So we've been doing everything at the walk,
Mhm. Good.
a little bit of trot, but whatever I can do at the walk to build him to be stronger and more balanced, so that we can set up for those other things would be fabulous.
Mhm.
So, but
Great. Well, we'll
the day's
see.
different too. So.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about biomechanics and all that kind of thing. So hopefully we'll get to the root of it.
I'd like to
Colleen.
work on our downward transitions are really terrible, but I have a feeling that if I fix the body control and awareness, that will probably improve.
Yeah, it will, but it might not be the only thing.
Right, but I feel like like you're going good, and then when you change something, like everything falls apart, and like you do good for a task, when that task is over, like everything aborts, and then you start over. I want to be able to continue doing different things and still keep that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might be my mental.
No, transitions are the most difficult thing to keep together. And in dressage tests, they mark the transitions more harshly than the actual gaits, because that's your test of rhythm and balance and harmony. It's the biggest test.
Well, going up is much easier than coming down.
We'll just do, and that's usually an extroverted mover kind of horse. When the upward transition is easy, it's usually more of a mover, and when the downward transition is easy, it's more of a stopper. So balancing transitions is.
Yes, so he would be more of a stopper, because if I just think stop, like okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
some of that to me.
Yeah.
And we've been working on the canter, but I think if we did stuff better in the trot, the canter would come. So I think more variation within the sort of steady speed and rhythm, like being able to control 1, 2, 3, 4 speed within trot.
Totally.
And then the straightness. So we got lots of bend, but going straight with contact. So we can go straight on a loose rein, but straight with contact.
Let's call it like it is. Crooked. Straightness is always the goal, right? But once you, when you can identify crooked and where the crooked's coming from, then you'll fix it. But if we just keep trying to go straight.
Yeah, as soon as you pick up the reins, head goes up and we're all over the place down the center line or on the quarter line or wherever you come down.
Okay.
We're great on circles, hunches in, hunches out, shoulder in. You can do all that kind of stuff.
Straight. Awesome.
I
Okay.
want to do that in the canter, but I think we got to fix some other stuff.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
So anyway.
Okay, cool.
So we have this overbending thing with his neck still going on.
Mhm.
And actually, last clinic, Sandy mentioned that it's probably because he's not responding to my aids. I mean, like my hips and my legs. But then I realized that I really don't even use my legs a lot.
Yeah.
So
So would you say he's not taking the contact?
yes, it's kind of like when we do like hindquarter yield, he bends his neck a lot, so I can't keep keeping his body straight. It's not because the hip is not moving.
So it's over flexing, not over
Oh,
bending.
yes, over flexing. Yes.
And we're going to discuss the difference between bending and
Yeah,
flexing.
so I
Yeah.
think when
He's
I
not
tried-
bending his body, he's bending his neck, so you're not keeping the neck straight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So and then he's not if he doesn't do it, he's not moving his hip well enough. I mean,
Mhm.
and then I can make him move it, but I don't want
Mhm.
him to be that way.
We want him to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, again, in the biomechanics discussion that we have, and I'm not sure when we'll have them, but I'll pace it according to, okay, you know, what's needed now. But we'll cover these for sure. Does anybody have trouble with contact? The horse has trouble with the contact, trouble with the bit, things like that?
When he gets worried,
Picking up contact is when he's like,
chomping.
Mhm.
Chomping. Yeah, chomping's getting better. He is getting better here too, but still shows up when he gets worried. Really resistance. Oh yeah,
Reconnection.
grinding. Kind of connection.
Grinding.
I would like to focus on the numbers. Yeah, I think remember like
Yep.
numbers within gait.
Yep.
I know that I'm not as focused as I should be, and he gets away with more than he should.
Okay.
With all of this, I feel like, why do I even ride?
Thank God we're passionate.
We have harmony on the trails, but when you go in the ring, just go for a trail ride instead.
I have those days. I was like, I can't ride. I'm going to hack around. Well, I might do Liberty today. It happens.
Relaxation at higher speeds.
Okay. So we'll say tension with speed, right?
I did feel like I was very relaxed in the field over there, galloping around. It was a lot of fun. It was relaxing, and Rue was relaxed and just going forward. After I turned around and left you guys.
So I think with us, the numbers thing is that is my problem mentally because of all our history too.
Mhm.
That we used just like around and and I would have to hold him back, and then it's in my head
Mhm.
that I don't want to do that anymore.
Mhm.
So I have to I kind of get scared when that happens. So I just have to focus more on me, I think,
Mhm.
to help him.
Don't try to solve the. Don't try to solve the problem. Just give me your problem. I'm going to help you solve it. I'm going to help you solve it. Any more on the problem side of things? I mean, the goals are really noble. They're very good goals. And, like things like transitions and improving the gaits and canter and haunches in or leg yields or those kinds of things we're going to cover anyway. Right? But it's the quality of how those are done that's really important, because anyone can make a horse do something. But any other problems?
Yeah, on the left hand side, preferring to be with his pasture mates than with me.
Okay, herd bound. So I'd put here, because that's a problem.
If we're out in the field and everybody else goes in and he stays out in the field, he goes crazy.
Yeah. So why I put it over here on problems is because we can make every one of these a goal, but unless you know the origin of the problem, you'll never solve it. If you keep going, I'm going to do this and that to get him more connected to me, great, but how do you actually solve the problem of him being herd bound? Like understand the origin of that, right? Instead of wrestling with it. So that's why I put it over there. Okay, good.
I like that point you just made, because I find that sometimes when you're given a task, I get too focused on the task and not what we're doing. An example was we were doing moving the shoulders over and then picking up the canter, and I
right, that the cone, this is where we're supposed to be in the cone we canter. And I was starting to lose a little focus as to the feel of, did I complete the maneuver correctly and that's why we cantered, or did we hit the cone and my brain went canter and she went, okay, you know, kind of, I guess, be more aware of the task and are we really completing it and I'm feeling it and understanding it? Does that kind of make sense?
How do I write that? Is it precision?
I think it's now it's more mental awareness on the rider, what you're like with the sideways and the like feeling everything.
We got it.
Just,
Okay.
Yeah, not you going, oh, the horse did it great. And I'm like, oh, great, but I have no idea what I just did.
Okay.
We just did it right.
All right. So it's rider awareness and body control, I
guess,
think.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
There's some more again, just more time.
So remember.
It's all we're working on.
So Pauline, remember we were doing
Full
that?
disclosure.
We were doing that exercise, and we did it the first time. I wasn't thinking too much of it, so it went really nice. And then I started thinking, oh, what did I do? It felt really good. And then we tried it again, and I tried to overthink it, and
Oh yeah, that doesn't work.
it doesn't work. So sometimes
Think
have
too
to be
much,
a
you
little-
can't feel.
Yeah, just have to focus more. Sometimes, I mean, all the time, to how it feels and not the task. And I get task oriented too, so it's hard because that's the way we are, right?
Yeah.
Get that job done.
Everything's hard.
When you're asking.
This is hard.
Therapy with horses.
I know. But this is hard. And it's funny because, you know, I'll be coaching people go, this is so hard. It's like, why do you think it should be easy? It's like, first of all, let's expect it to be hard. Do you remember that thing I talk about in terms of learning, practicing? Learning is hard. When it's hard, you go, I must be learning. Okay, get over it. Just let it be hard.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Practicing is
Boring.
boring because it's little increments and it's repetitive. It's not exciting. Like people who live exciting lives are terrible at practicing because they just want it to be interesting, exciting, and something new all the time. The horse is like, can't handle it. Performance is pressure.
And isn't it the same for the horse too?
Yes.
And I sometimes forget about it. Like,
Learning is really hard for horses. And if we're finding it hard and the horse is finding it hard, oh my gosh, you know, who's the one that has to take care of the other one? Practice should be boring where a horse can go, oh, it's not very demanding and, you know, it's kind of just helping me to understand and get better at things and improve little things, but it cannot be pressure. And a lot of the time we put pressure on horses in the practice stages.
well, how about drilling?
That's pressure.
So yeah, so that wouldn't be practicing. So it's,
And you drill because you're in performance mode. I want this right. I want this to be perfect. You know, when my interns, whenever they say, well, it wasn't perfect, I'm like, you have to stop saying that. Perfection is overrated. It will never be perfect. And if you keep doing that, it's going to be pressure, pressure, pressure. You have to be okay with a little mess, you know, and rejoice when you get a little glimmer of hope. What does fun look like to you?
Everything that I forget to have fun.
What does fun look like to you?
Smile, happy, breathing.
Harmony.
I mean, there's so many
Harmony,
things to
harmony,
that. Just
harmony. Exactly, harmony.
love with your horse. All that. Yeah.
0 to 3, 4 to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you put a set of ears on this? They don't all look like that. These ones are going to look like this. These ones are going to look like this. Hmm? So you can see, well, where fun exists and joy is up here. But most of us live here. Some of us before today lived here. I remember the kinds of things that we were experiencing last year in the clinic. Those are gone, I would think. Now you're probably needing to get from here to here. You know, this is like, it's okay. You know, we live with it, it's functional, but it's not fun. But when you feel harmony, when you feel the horse trying, when you've got this connection and collaboration, that's fun. But some people think fun should be skipping through the tulips, and horses are like, you crazy, you know? So our sense of fun has to be very clear. Is that, you know, is harmony fun? Or do you want to be galloping on a trail ride with your arms stretched out? You know, what's your idea of fun? If that's it, then yeah, I know. But for some people, Sandy's got photos like that, you know? For some people, that's really fun. Yeah. But really, in the end, what is fun? It's harmony, right? And harmony exists from 7 up. This is obedience. This is chaos, right? Yeah. So we want to go beyond obedience into this beautiful territory here. And, you know, we're scoring the horse on how he responds to us, but don't forget the horse is scoring us too. You know, what does he give us? He sees, like people go, oh, I'll get the horse in and groom it and saddle it, and then I'm going to start. You started long ago. When you went to get that horse, that set the tone of the relationship from the get-go. One time we were in Portugal, and there was a guy there who wanted to show us, you know, what he does with his horses, and he had this gaggle of Lusitano crossed with Arabians. They were a little bit odd looking, but anyway. Short butts on Lusitanos. Anyway. So he harassed those horses until he got them in a chute, and then they were in the chute, and that's how he put the halter and the rope on. And then training started. And it was like, no, it started way back there. How could you do all of that differently so that this part is good, you know? So
my daughter through your connection and awareness piece, the greeting, so that she could have.
Super.
She was having some challenges with her pony, and the way you greeted your horse, and how you recognized that things were a little different because the camera was there, and he didn't necessarily want to come over to you right away. She immediately was tuned in.
Wow.
Here's this person who knows and has all the tools, and it gave her confidence to be able to
great.
move forward. So I found that was just such a great resource for her, and that's exactly that beginning piece.
That's awesome.
The second you make eye contact, that's where it starts.
And it's connection. And you know, most people are not connected with themselves, let alone connected to people or horses, you know, and that's the meaning of life or something, I don't know. Okay, so let's go back to this. And all of this lives mostly up in the top area, right, in here. That lives here, mainly in this area, right? But you need all of this to get to that. And it doesn't have to be a long road, but getting it better, getting it from a 4 to a 6 to an 8 is why we practice, right? Because in the beginning, you're going to get some kind of result, but then the quality of the result is something that you keep developing up to 7 or better. So here, the problems that you need to solve are all below this line.
Where do you put the crooked and straightness? Is that in?
It's going to be your job right now because I'm giving you a task. So you know the numbers on these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I want you to work together with somebody and put a number next to these.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Okay? So You probably don't need this page down, but this page you do.
Wait, how many numbers? Sorry.
Yeah, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Here's our red marker. I got directions. Thank you.
I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but
I can see it.
okay. So you have time, think about it, talk about it. Need more time? Anybody need more time? Anyone need more time? More time? Anyone need more time? No? Yes? No? Oh, you.
She's saying hi.
All right, let's have a look at this then. Origin of resistance.
We had all of them. You don't know what it is. We put 2 and
Connection.
3.
I put number 1 because you have to connect with the horse to understand things from his perspective, right? Great. Dull. Yes, 3. It's a responsiveness issue. If I ask you to be dull, I'd be happy. But if I ask you to be light and you're dull, that's a responsiveness issue, okay? Downward transitions.
5.
Responsiveness?
Obviously not right.
No, I'm just letting you all spill out your numbers. But I agree, it's 3 and 5. It depends on how bad it is. Like if you ask for a transition, a horse goes no, that's a 3. But if your transition is just not that great, that's a 5. Now you need to understand speed control.
Can it work the other way, that the horse is dull and he's mentally not there, and then he becomes even more responsive?
Yes.
Yes.
But then you've got to go, what do I need to work on first? And if it's connection, then you're looking at the behavior and, is it a mover, a stopper? Yeah, some horses are more complicated than others. It's just how it is. Courtney, my protege, has 2 horses in training right now. And she's decided she does not want to become a horse trainer. And partly because they're quite difficult horses in their own way. They're 2 warm bloods, and I'll tell you more about that as we go. But she was struggling with one of them, and he's a mover, and he's quite left brain, and he's trained fairly high level in dressage, but it's all through push and pull and force and make. And so the first time that she rode him, she was just miserable. She went, this is like the worst feeling I ever had riding a horse. And then I went away, and I came back, just a few days ago, and I said, how's it going? And she said, I just don't know how to fix this problem. Like he just takes the bit and he just goes and goes and goes. And I've been trying to do speed control. And so I said, let me watch. And so she started trotting, and he just like took the bit and started, because he's been trained to do that. And I said, stop. And I said, you have a control problem. This is a non-negotiable, and you're trying to do numbers. If you ask your horse to stop, to trot, to walk, to canter, and it doesn't do it, that's a responsiveness problem. Now, why the horse doesn't respond is another layer to go, all right, is it just blowing me off, not listening, or afraid, can't do it? So I just did those barking orders with her, and, stop, go, trot, back up. And all of a sudden, and I had to show her how to stop that horse. Because yes, you can take one rein and bend it. But now, how do you stop it? If you say the bit is going backwards or the bit is stopping and the horse goes, not my bit. How do you do that? Because people want to jerk and seesaw and stuff like that. So I had to show her how to hold one rein and lock it down with her body, and then the other one says, don't run through that. And finally, the horse started stopping, but she felt like it was a lot. And she felt really mean. She said, I feel like I'm just pulling on him. And I said, no, you're not. He's pushing on you. You wouldn't have to pull if he wasn't pushing. And you're not pulling, by the way. You're trying to stop the bit. So finally, I mean, it was probably, I don't know, 15 or 20 repetitions before all of a sudden the horse went, I think I should stop when I feel that. And all of a sudden she got a downward transition to a stop or whatever with barely any reins and mostly her body. And then she sent me a text 2 days ago and she said I got transitions without using my reins. Because now the horse was responsive. But you can't do speed control before you do responsiveness. That's a non-negotiable. If I say stop, stop. Right? Or there better not be a cliff or a tree or a car. That's not going to end well. Transitions in general. 3 and 5. Right? Again, I mean, it's like what we were just talking about. If you ask the horse to change gait and it doesn't do it, that's a non-negotiable. If I put my foot on the gas pedal in my car and it doesn't go forward or it coughs, that's a problem. I got to go back and fix that. So if you have major problems with transitions, it's a 3. If you have minor problems with transitions, it's probably a 5. Yeah? Okay. Crooked. The horse is crooked. 6. 6. In 6, like crookedness is just bending when you don't want it, right? So how you teach a horse to be straight is also how you learn to bend a horse. And a lot of it has to do with rider body control, right? Because a lot of people will go, my horse turns great to the left, but he turns really badly to the right. And we don't even realize we're not turning, right? So
That's why we thought it was impulsion in 5, because that was rider stability.
Impulsion, speed, and stability. It's not body control. Because once you get to number 6, you're learning how to turn your shoulders, how to turn your, things into, well, it's more, you're learning to steer and how to get your horse to be in line with your body. So now you start to learn a lot about body control, body awareness. So it's 6. Over bending and flexing. 6. 6, because it's the horse is bending and you don't want it, right? Or it's doing too much instead of just the right amount. So it's a bending issue.
It's not a leadership issue.
Everything's a leadership issue. But sometimes the horse doesn't understand, right? Or we don't understand. Like we're using the inside rein and we shouldn't be using it. So there's a lot of kind of knowledge to be gained there.
So that was my problem with the overflexing thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that it could be number 3 for us, that he's kind of just trying to get out of kind of leaning on me and not doing what I'm asking, and then he kind of flexes to get rid of it. Kind of like, that's how it feels to me.
Potentially,
Yeah, because he can bend actually pretty well, but
potentially, but it's more of a control the
yeah.
bend thing,
Okay.
not like horses will resist often to defend themselves, right? They'll lean on the bit or they'll escape the bit because they don't know what's expected. So once you're very clear on what bending should look like, you can teach the horse.
So I can hold the reins stronger even, as long as I'm not.
No, don't go
I'm
there.
just-
No, you have to learn
I have to.
how to bend and straighten your horse.
Yeah.
And once you
But
do
I
that,
wouldn't do that. Flex
We're
them
not
anymore.
riding with reins this clinic. We're
Okay.
Riderless.
all will become clear. But the problem is that this doesn't happen unless you're doing it with the reins. And you got to learn how to do it with your body.
Yeah.
Not the
So
reins.
that's where we need help.
You're in the right place. All right, contact. 7. Contact is 7. Contact is 7. All the precursors to contact are in 6. But actual contact, riding with contact, is 7. And when you've got all this chomping, bracy, resist, etc., they're all the problems that start to happen because the horse doesn't understand contact, or you don't understand contact. So now the horse gets upset, gets worried, feels trapped, and you're going to get all of these things happening because both of you don't understand contact. So let's say, for example, you're trying to do contact and then your horse starts getting bracy. Well, we know he's lost relaxation, right? So we give a rein, and that's what helps the horse to relax and be confident in the contact. But if we start doing other things for relaxation, it's not going to fix the contact. We have to understand contact, and the horse has to understand contact. How do you do that? Anne, will you do something with me? You'll be safe, I promise. That's contact. But you should have seen her face, right? She was like, she was putting a lot of effort into it. She's going, what am I, like a really good student, right? I'm like, what do I need to do? So I did this in France, and there was a guy there who he does a lot of dressage, and he does it with the lightness concept, légèreté, Philip Carl, all that kind of thing, where they really don't use contact. So he was you, right? But I'm going to be him. You be me. He kept trying to keep it light. There's no contact. Now what do you do? What do you do with that? You can't do anything. So I had to teach him to take the contact, right? So now you be him. You're avoiding it, right? You're avoiding the contact, avoiding. And I kept doing that. That's what his face looked like. He was like, and I kept doing that. And he went to step backwards. I said, don't move. And then finally, he pushed.
Because he was going to fall otherwise, right?
And I did that, and he went, oh. And that's how we're going to teach horses to do it, to take the contact. Because you pick up the reins, and the horse goes. And if you give the reins, the horse goes, I'm doing the right thing. But if you keep the contact, finally the horse goes, this ain't it. And then they start to do that, and you go, yep, that's it, yep, that's it. And pretty soon the horse goes, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to take the bit. And they take the bit, and you go, I'll have contact. Now, you have to keep the contact. That's the hard part. But most horses don't understand what the job is, what the goal is. And so that's why they avoid the bit. They push on it, they reef the reins out of your hands, they lean on one side. That's not contact. That's fighting.
That's
right?
what I'm struggling with, because I came from that school of thought, the whole lightness thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then lots of bend.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was great, but now I can't go straight into contact. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I know.
I'm having, okay.
Yep.
So with
I know.
with that, when they try to reach the reins off you, you think it's always because they don't understand the concept of
Oh, yeah.
bit. So it's not about them trying to take over.
No.
Oh, good.
They're like, I give up. I'm fed up. I can't do this.
I don't get it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like somebody goes, can't dance with you.
Would you be able to touch upon, because I've had people ask and I don't really know an answer to it, the difference between like the Western contact where they change it, with the float in the rein?
Yeah, that's not contact. Contact is where the horse takes the feeling on the bit, and it has a lot to do with power and extensions and the things that you want that horse to be able to do. In the Western world, you don't have that same outcome. And everything's with body and legs and no contact. And you might pick up the reins to make an adjustment or, help a horse to support where you want them to go. But it's different. English and Western is different like that. And we'll talk a lot about that when we do our little bit sermon. And all will be clear. All will be clear. Well, this is an easy one. Numbers and speed control. 5. Tension with speed. 5. Yeah, the word speed. And here's like speed control, speed. But it's tension with speed. If the like when you've just got a horse that's tense, then you work on number 2, right? Just because it's a tense horse, a tense kind of horse. If your horse is not normally a tense horse, then you'll find if tension comes up in certain areas when you're training, then you have to use some of the strategies to help them, but not all of them, because that's not really who they are. It's what you're doing that has created the tension. So now you go, all right, how did I do it that created tension? And what do I need to do to explain to the horse that he doesn't have to be worried about it?
That would be necessary for us.
Yeah, it's really necessary for everybody, because all horses can get tense, even the most left brain ones. Because, in the end, if they feel trapped and they don't have a choice, can't find comfort. Herd bound? 1. You want the horse to be more connected to you than the herd, the other horses, the grass, right?
So none of those were number 2.
No.
Or 4.
You've graduated. Now we're working in the areas where you need more strategies and more understanding. Like we're in the learning place now. And look how short this list is compared to the list last year. I think we filled 2 pages with problems last year, right?
And a lot of 2s.
Yeah, it's huge. I had a student at my place and she was there for 3 months. And in the beginning, she had a whole list of problems. Like I give them these hearts and on the heart chart, they have to, circle or highlight everything they're having problems with. And she filled the page, there's lots of problems. And then we're working through it. And the program just works. Like I don't have to drill anybody. If you do these things, it just works. So she's working along with it and I'd give her little tips and help her with if she was struggling or whatever. And then this almost always happens. Her time is coming to a close. And she's going, the one thing that I really want, we haven't worked on. And it was the canter. She had no business working on the canter because she had a page full of problems. And if she'd cantered, which she was doing anyway, it was a wreck. So I didn't have her canter. And every now and then I'd catch her cantering and I just wouldn't say anything. It would be chaos. But I know she's testing it. Are we ready yet? Are we ready yet? Are we ready yet? Anyway, so then other, because they'll talk with each other and not me. And so people are coming up to me going, so-and-so's in a little bit of chaos. I go, I know. Because you can't go rescue someone from chaos. They have to go through that, right? And they have to learn to ask a question. If you just stay in chaos, you'll stay in chaos. You have to finally get left brain enough to go, I don't want to do this. Who do I talk to change my reality? But people tend to suffer in silence and go down a rabbit hole that, has a lot of tunnels before they come back up. And that's just some people's process. So a few people had told me, and I said, that's okay. I'm having a meeting with her and, in our final week where, what we need to do. So she comes in and it was all over her face. She's barely holding it together.
First tears here.
First tears?
First tears.
Aww.
Of happiness. Yes.
Yeah. But, I also had the same thing with, type A people like us. It's difficult to feel satisfied because we're always chasing, we want to be better. And we have high goals and, and so I go through that with Courtney, of course, all the time because she's like AAA. And one day we're having this discussion and I said to her, don't forget how far you've come. I mean, if you look at a horse now, and we'll do some photos, videos, hopefully, Sandy, will have that opportunity where we can look at some things. And it doesn't even look like the same horse now. It's phenomenal. And she doesn't look like the same rider. Beautiful. And oh my God. But all she can focus on is what she doesn't have yet. Right? You can't do that because the horse feels that.
How do you feel about that ride on your?
Oh, she was ecstatic.
That was
was
beautiful.
awesome.
That
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah, really good.
That was really good.
So don't forget how far you've come. You know, you've got to be pleased with that, but still have your goals. You know, a horse doesn't know if you're frustrated with yourself or frustrated at them. It just feels bad energy. So we have to bring that good energy to horses. And it's hard when you're learning. But I'm going to beat it into you. God damn it. Okay. All right. So we're going to solve some problems as I help you develop that. Because obviously some of the problems are connected to this goal. All of them are really. But we need to change this before we can really move forward on that. And it won't take long. I think we'll probably fix all of that today. Feels so good to be able to say that, you know, and know that it's true. Now, one or two of you might not, but you know, that was a joke. Everyone's going, is it me? Is it me? I'm like, okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to get your horses, and you can have them saddled. And we're going to, I want to watch you play on the ground. And if your horse only needs a minute on the ground, do a minute and get on. If your horse needs more than that, do more than that. But basically, it's like when your horse is connected, relaxed, responsive, and confident, go on. Like in the beginning, that used to take us half an hour, you know. But now it should only take a few minutes. Now, if you want to keep playing and advancing on the ground, then obviously you're not going to get on. But if your goal is to ride, your warm-up should be fairly efficient, right? Just check the boxes and go. Because otherwise you wear them out on the ground. The horse goes, you want more now? Right? It's too demanding. Okay, so have your saddles and bridles. If you have any problems with saddling or bridling, I imagine you would have said it because it would be on the list, but we didn't really say it.
I actually have a little trouble with mounting. Just it's us both being relaxed, and
Does he stand still?
he stands still, but he's not relaxed.
His head's up?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll help you with
So
that.
that's my thing that I'm
Okay.
constantly.
Let me put that on here so we have it on the radar. And mounting, you're right, is two. Okay, bridling, saddling, mounting, grooming, that's all two. Mostly two.
And we still have problems with bridling at times. Sometimes it's perfect, and then sometimes
Okay.
he turns his head away. It's not so much about this anymore. It's just like
Yeah. Okay. So if you have a problem with that today, call me, all right? And we'll start the process on it. Okay, so just do your best. And this is not a performance.
No pressure.
Because if you're great, I'll go, good, next. We're not going to spend long celebrating your greatness. Right? If you don't have problems, I don't have a job. So, ready or not, we're moving on. I was going to say, are you ready? But some of you might go, no. Okay. So, first of all, any questions or things you want to talk about as a result of this morning? Maggie?
Just wondering if, in terms of like the bridge and thinking about moving it that way, related to your wheelbarrow idea, very similar, different language.
Kind of
different
not.
thing?
Kind of a not. Like the wheelbarrow is really more in confidence, to give the horse confidence that you're not going to pull on it, right? So you push the turns.
All
But
right.
position the bit is in number 6 because now we're getting more refined and it's about bending. So I teach position the bit, and you've got to imagine it, right? And you do it like this. And one day I was riding with a bridge because my dressage mentor makes me ride with a bridge so that I have more stability, you know, that there's no movement in the bit. And I was coming around the corner and I somehow looked down and I went, oh, that's the same position as the bit. And then I went, and it's the same as my shoulders. Bing. So then I taught that in France, and it was like night and day watching people use that instead of pulling their horses around. So that's how that came around. But that's, you know, when you do it again this afternoon, you'll have more confidence and clarity about it because you'll go, oh, don't push it over there, just change the angle of the, or the position of the bridge and therefore the bit and your shoulders without even thinking about it. Just go 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
What if your horse braces against it, so his neck is in the middle and all is good, but then pushes in one direction or the other? Do you?
Just turn it
Okay.
and wait.
Okay.
And if he goes over there, you got to go, no, it's here.
Right.
But you don't try and push it.
Push it.
So if a horse wants, like if you do this and the horse goes like that,
Yeah.
you keep it here.
Okay. So his neck could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he's resisting, you just go, oh, I'm going to wait till you come back instead of fix, correct.
And not use the legs
No.
to push him. Just wait.
You cannot take the bit over there. It's here. And then the horse will feel your commitment to that.
And then he will be like, oh, that's what you want.
Yeah, because
well,
then
that's
it's
where I
like
should
that
be.
demo that I did with, was it Colleen last night where I pushed on your arm?
Yes.
On your arm?
Yep.
You know, like there's two ways for the horse to find comfort. One is you push it and take the pressure away. The other one is you put some pressure. You don't, like the horse resists you, you hold it, don't let the horse move you, and then the horse moves off the pressure and the horse goes, now I'm smarter, I know what to do. And that's the best way for horses to become light, is when they can find the answer. So your horse's responsibility or job is to find comfort between the reins. And if you're moving reins around and pulling and pushing, there's no way the horse can find comfort. So you've got to set it up and wait. Hold it, hold that position until the horse gets to it. One time I was coaching Courtney, she's always the victim of all these stories. She's with me every day, and she's riding a circle, and I'm saying, position the bit. And she goes, I've got the bit positioned, but he's going over there. And I said, don't let him. There's your line. And she goes, but then I've got to like really, and I said, yes. I said, oh. So then she came around, and the horse went like this, and she went, you can't move it, and he went, and then we could go on. Don't let him take you there. I was thinking of my father when it seems like that. I used to go, really hurts when I push this, and he goes, don't push it. Good point. Yeah, so position the bit means on the line of travel. It's not just, I'm in a field and just doing position for the hell of it. It's precision, it's a line. Don't let the horse become the leader. And you don't have to be mad at them and correct them, you just don't let them change you. Good one. Any other questions? Okay. All right, so if we look at this, how many of these things are already fixed? A lot. Because these are symptoms of a lack of harmony. And when you ride like a leader, a lot of this goes away. And we'll look at some things a little bit more intensely this afternoon. For instance, well, not even that, I think that's already changed. But like transitions, to get you more steady in your body when you do transitions and more particular about it. And then some of the speed control stuff we'll do this afternoon as well. But a lot of the crookedness is already gone because we're not making the horse crooked. We're keeping that all pretty nicely together.
How about dull?
Dull?
How do you see, how did we do with the dullness?
Who had a dull horse?
Who was it who brought it up?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Is it better? Yeah, because you're going, I'm doing this, how about you? Instead of
Yeah.
telling you to do it and then you have conscientious resistance. Objection, right? I'm not doing it, but you go, I'm doing this, how about you? And they go, oh, okay. Instead of you do it, that makes horses dull. Pushing, pulling, holding. Horses just tune out. But when you ride like a leader, horses get light and soft because it's interesting. It's dancing. Okay? And horses quite enjoy dancing. They
So-
don't like being pushed around.
So do you think the chomping will get better too?
Yes,
the
for
harmony.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. There's no chomping in harmony. That's disharmony. Then you got to go, why is there disharmony? Am I, you know, unsteady in his mouth? Am I crooked? Am I unclear? Am I on a line or am I not on a line? All of those are leadership issues. But it's very easy to just go, you have to be a better leader. It's like, okay. How? Right? But that's what the heart then describes for you. Describes all the things you need to know to be a good leader for your horse.
I noticed that during the bridge and just some of the things you gave us, one of the things I struggle with is how to be a leader without having the emotion attached, without having to get my adrenaline up or to get a little cranky to go, I meant this is what you're going to do. I want to just be able to say, this is what I want to do and have it mean it. Like I work, my dogs
Wait
know
for him
me.
to do it.
Right, so I want to be able to do it more with my dogs, I guess. When I say sit, and they're like, yeah, and then I have to I have to get mad to say sit. So I'm using all the stuff you're teaching is helping to become a better leader. So when I say,
don't get mad, get clear.
yeah, without getting mad or cranky.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, well, it's hard to mean it. They look right through you and go.
But don't get stronger, just fix it. A lot of the time we think we have to get stronger. We don't.
Okay.
Always ask gently, correct gently. If they fight you, resist it, don't let them take over, and then you're immediately back to soft. But if we get stronger with our messaging, horses have a lot of trouble. And, you know, the interesting thing is, like in the Prelli system, we have phases, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. And everywhere I teach, people are going, why are we using phases? All right, let's talk about phases. The origin of phases was to stop cowboys beating on their horses and spurring them, because that was Pat's main demographic at that time. And it was to help people who are so nice and soft with their horses be able to stand up to their horses when the horses were naughty, right? Or taking over. That's the reason for phases. Some people had to learn how to get bigger in the phases, and some had to learn how to get lower. But after you've done that, you shouldn't be thinking about it. And I find people that have been doing this for 15, 20 years that are going, oh, I still need to go to phase 3. It's like, why are you thinking about phases? So now it's like, ask nicely, see if the horse will do it. If he doesn't, you go, hey. The horse goes, oh, you're here? Okay. Try again. Not. Try it. Come on. You got to do it. Because that's really pressuring the horse to do it and making him do it instead of him finding the answer of what he should do. It's a subtle but huge difference. So if I say sit to my dog and it doesn't sit, I'm going to lift the collar and push its butt down. Good dog. Sit. Lift the collar, push the butt down. Sit. Good dog. Right? So it's clarity. But if you get louder, stronger, your energy changes. Now you're opening a can of worms, because the horse, especially horses, they buy into the energy and then they go, what's happening? Now they can't think. They get emotional. They go prey animal on you, and the rest is, I don't even have to talk about it. It's what happens. So this morning when I was talking about you being a leader, and Wendy, you were the perfect model for it, because it was so easy to see the difference. You know? Yeah. And you're not the only one that does it. I mean, usually as soon as you say, you know, walk over here, everyone goes. But if you're on your own feet and I say, you know, walk over there, you go. And you walk over there. It's not like, well, let me organize my shoelaces. And then I'm going to
trip and fall.
You know what I mean? So you got to have that intention. When you start leading like that, horses can't help themselves. They want to follow. Especially with the background that you have now. Some horses are going to, you have to teach them some things because they don't follow, and they're born to resist and argue, and they've had bad training or whatever it is, right? But even if you start with a horse like that and begin as a leader with harmony in mind, horses change quickly. So what I was telling you was like, you know, I'm walking, how about you? Apparently not. Hey, come on. Hey, but there has to be that pause, or there's no choice. If you go, no, it's make, push, the horse is not going to think, right?
At
So,
what point do you do that?
fix it.
Sorry.
From the beginning.
Do they ever get dull though if you don't have to increase, like you just keep going until they?
I mean, if they're ignoring you, the second one will be the same. Third one will be double that. Fourth one will be double that. Because it's like, hey!
Yeah.
And they go, oh. You know, 'cause they're blowing you off. But if you go, that's different. Right now you're just bringing up energy and emotions, but you want the brain. And that's where that choice is so valuable, is I'm going to touch you and see what happens. And I'll touch you again and see what happens. He tries to leave, I'll put you back here, see what happens. So there's those pauses is what gives the horse choice. Because we can get pretty urgent. We're very good at preventing things from happening, which is micromanagement, and we're also very good at making things happen. But we're not very good at giving the horse choice, and that's never really been explained before, right? Not to this degree. But it's the pause that's the key. Ask and see what happens. Then fix it. When you fix it soft. And if your horse gets really strong, match him. But don't match him to do it, match him to stop him doing the other thing. So it's like with Christian's horse.
Yeah.
Like he went to freak out and I went, "Where are you going?" And he was like, "Oh, I forgot." Oh. But I had to be really strong because his reaction was to the vision situation was so strong. And if you go, "Come back here," he's not even going to hear you. So in that moment, your expertise comes from knowing how much you need to use to fix it. You always try to be gentle, but if it's going to be a disaster and it's very strong and the horse is already blowing you off, you got to be strong. Right now, and it's over. Right now, and it's over. Not wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Stop and seethe.
Right.
Right?
You suggested something in one of the Q&As that I tried, and it really broke the habit of like emotion coming up with a certain amount of energy. Whacking a rock,
Oh, yeah.
skipping a string, without letting your, like, just with the energy, but not letting additional emotions come up and then coming right down.
Yeah.
And it does take practice if you've got
Yes,
that
it does.
habit of connecting the two.
Yeah, I mean, that's emotional fitness. And you have to train for it. You know, most people are not born emotionally fit. Even like snipers. You know, they have to learn how to have that emotional fitness. You have to stretch those things. Like, can I get really firm without getting emotional? And then can I get really soft without getting emotional? You know, it's training. Train yourself to do it. And I've seen a lot of trainers that are cold-blooded. And emotional fitness doesn't mean cold-blooded. It doesn't mean you don't feel anything, but it means you're in control of it. And, you know, you have to work on it. You can't do one sit-up and go, "Now I've got six-pack abs." But we want six-pack emotional fitness, right? It's going to take more than one sit-up, and you have to do it, exercise it all the time. I know somebody who took that to heart pretty strong. She was very afraid of flying, and she thought of everything that would help her get more emotionally fit. She went and did roller coasters and all kinds of things to help her nervous system get used to that kind of range. Because everyone wants to exist in this little comfort zone. When you get out of that comfort zone, it's difficult. And horses will put us out of there right now. So we have to train to just be unflappable. Well, that was interesting. Try this again. Ain't no way! And now try this again. You got to be able to come back to home, right? And then horses don't want to leave home. But if home is chaos, they don't want to be home. No pressure or anything.
No, well, I let him, so I thought I was doing the right thing in letting him, in going with his response to that, but what happened was he just took over whatever idea I had,
Yeah.
and it brought up his emotional response, which then brought my emotional response up, and it was not the right choice.
And rightfully so, because that's
Right.
scary.
Yeah.
You know, and in the end, control is number one. You have to have control of your
Right.
car.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then number two is you can work on his confidence. Right? So the first thing was control.
Right.
Where are you going? What are you doing? Come here. And even if that means getting off to do it, do it. But you have to have control. Then we can have a discussion. Good. So most of these things are going to be solved by being better leaders and aiming for harmony. And that's why harmony's here, right? Because this is at the junction point of learning all of this and moving on into all of that, right? And what we're going to work on here in this clinic is agility and probably some elements of purpose, depending on what your purpose is, whether it's riding Western or English, if you want dressage, or I don't know, trail riding or whatever, then, you know, we can talk about that and how that all connects, or show you some things, you know, if you're at that point to learn them. And then power is a little ways off. Power is like super advanced. And you might be able to ask for power on the ground, but not yet riding.
So did you say earlier that in the power part there would be more like extended trotting and
Yeah, it's
like,
a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of effort, but with no emotional dysregulation.
And you see a lot of people going dressage rings and shows with doing extended trot and they don't have that.
Or even collective trot. That's
Yeah.
that's almost even more.
Could Piaf
Takes
be
more
there
power.
too?
Yeah. It takes power to do that, you know. And horses, when you think about power, that usually involves a certain degree of adrenaline because you need that energy. But horses, if you think about them in the natural state, the only time they get on adrenaline is when they feel threatened or when they fight. So it brings up fear or fight in them when they feel that. And so we have to teach them how to disassociate adrenaline from any of those negative feelings. And that's approach and retreat. It's a confidence thing that you build for them. But they got to be really with you and really trust you and really respect you before you ask for them, before you ask for the power. So that'll be next clinic. So if all I did when I leave is teach you to do what you did this morning, you're going to keep making amazing progress. And now you have to have the discipline to always be like that. When I get my horse, I'm doing this, how about you? I'm haltering, how about you? The horse says, nope. Well, let's fix that. So we can halter, we can lead together, we can bridle, we can, and you've got all those strategies from the last clinic and from what you've learned in the program already. But now we're working on that higher level, we're working on quality and harmony, and probably a bit of agility. Just trying to think of what simulation we want. I think what we need to do is a rain simulation. So, how many riders do we have?
12.
12? Can I have 6 volunteers to get a pair of reins and a bit? And you can bring it with the bridle and we'll just take it off here. 1, 2, 3. I need 3 more. 4, 5. 1 more. 6. Yeah. We just need a bridle, reins and a bit. Take your bridle, your bit off the bridle. Oh, that looks nice.
Mine's sewn on, is what I'm doing. It's an old training
Okay,
bridle.
we can probably make it work.
I can undo the top part.
Oh, okay. Yeah, take the buckle. Take the headpiece off. Good idea. It's a lot less stuff flopping around when we do the simulation.
You don't?
This is really.
Do you have any preference on the actual type of reins, rope reins versus standard reins?
Rope reins are great when horses are difficult to control, like very strong, or if they're unconfident with the bit, because you can let them slide and get horses to feel that softness, okay, so they can float through your hands. But once you start getting into refinement, then you need the reins that are designed for that, whatever your purpose is. So even like Lewis likes us to ride with rein stoppers because he said symmetry is so important. You need to know where you are.
Do you need help?
But by the time you're riding with stoppers, your horse should not be claustrophobic.
And that's easier.
And you should be able to give. And, but most people use stoppers so their hands don't slip on the reins when they're holding the horse back. No, it's a refinement tool, a precision tool. And we'll talk a lot more about that. Probably tomorrow we'll do a thing on this. Yeah, perfect. Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah, rain in a bit. And just still going. Okay, Tula, can I borrow that?
Yep.
Perfect.
Don't mention my cheat bit. The middle
The
of
center.
the center on the rein
She has a little zip tie on it.
in the middle.
Find the center. Good.
Yeah, so that I don't
I
wear.
used to have pieces of white tape on my reins because
Yeah.
Walter would always say, shorten your reins, and I didn't even know they'd grown. All right, I need a volunteer.
And your closest. And Andy.
And you start with A.
And
There's that again. Okay, you're gonna be the horse. So turn around.
We need to see the horse's face, please.
put it in your
Put it
mouth.
in your Okay, when you're the horse, you're gonna hold the bit like this in your hands, and straight out, like that's the neck. Okay. So now, when we've got that, you should be able to feel changes. Can you feel that that's softer and this is harder? So go with it. Don't resist. Okay. I just want you to feel it and go. Where's the pressure? I'm gonna go to relieve that pressure. Okay. Now, if I do this, and you come towards the pressure, and I keep doing that, the horse goes, there was no comfort. There was no relief, right? So if I take the reins, and I position the bit that way, when the horse turns, finds comfort. Feel it? Now there's no more pressure. So teaching the horse the appropriate response to pressure is the key. And if your horse is resisting pressure, you have to wait. Because if you start going, get off my hand, or anything like that, you're going to ruin the horse's trust. The mouth is a very emotionally sensitive place on the horse. So when the horse doesn't respond, I'm going to hold and wait. Or I'm going to do this, right? So you're going to say, I'm not going that way. I'm going to go, come here. Good boy, girl. Come here, good girl. But I'm going to let go. So once I've got the control, then I let go. I don't keep holding it. That may or may not come up. So now when I'm in contact like this, I need my horse to go forward. So I have to cluck to you because I'm not sitting on you. Okay? Well, let's go.
Tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Just one tap.
Go forward.
Crazy horse.
So I've got a bridge in my reins. Stop for a second, Ed. I have a bridge in my reins, just like I have you do. And all I'm doing is turning it. And when she didn't turn, I stopped and I held it till she turned because I didn't want her taking me off the line.
Scab canter.
Once the horse has forward
Start
motion,
trotting.
it's easy to turn. The horse is going where I want, I'm going to slow it down because speed is the enemy of turning. Once I've got it, go. Position on the line. Good. I'm not just pulling the horse around. I'm thinking about the line I want to ride on, and then I'm positioning the bridge and the bit on that line. see how I'm waiting for the horse to find it? Did you feel that, Anne? I waited, I could feel you searching for it, rather than just doing this. It's already bracing. Look. I've lost all flow. Because I'm pulling her around instead of positioning the bit. Feel the difference?
You could see the difference in that.
Yeah. Where do you feel it? You're all going to go and apologize to your horses.
I felt it after we rode this
Yeah.
morning, so.
But you know.
I apologized to him already, so.
Yeah. But I mean, it's fine.
But it is a big change, a big difference in feel.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the other thing is. You okay? Yeah. Alright.
She's releasing.
Rolling out.
So tell me what your experience is. Tell them, not me.
I tried to not anticipate what she might do, but I had to really kind of focus on, because it was light. Like I could really, but I could feel it. But it wasn't, I didn't feel like it was holding me back at all. I just had to kind of think, oh, I think,
Where should I be?
feel it this way, okay. But when she did kind of do it harder and was bracy, it's like,
You couldn't think.
Yeah, you couldn't go.
And you couldn't think.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Like this way, I'm giving her a choice to follow it. And she's got to think about it, and then you get the mental connection. But if I just pull reins and push with my legs, you got no brain.
So you felt
It's
the
just
difference
gonna-
when she changed her reins to the no bridge to bridge. I mean, you could see the difference when you were going.
And I did no bridge, but then I was
Right.
pulling to turn, right? So you can do no bridge and not pull, act like you have
But
a
it
bridge.
looked more stabilized when you had the bridge. Like
Exactly.
it looked more fixed and more soft.
90% of the time I ride with a bridge. Because
Literally?
I'm training my hands.
You literally have that bridge.
I'm doing shoulder in, haunches in, half passes, flying changes, I have a bridge.
I'm just gonna put this here.
And the only time I don't is right in the beginning when I've got my horse stretching, but I'm still thinking about positioning the bit. But otherwise I'm riding with a bridge. And that's thanks to Lewis, my dressage coach, because he said, you know, any little wobble is going to affect your horse. And it does. And so I do that to train my hands.
I found that I had been trying to figure out how to do your wheelbarrow,
Uh-huh.
and I just couldn't, I don't know, mental block. But that bridge, I actually felt like that's what I was doing. It was
Okay.
really cool. I'm like, oh, maybe this is what she needs about the wheelbarrow, because
It's kind of
I
close.
just, the wheelbarrow, I wasn't even coming close.
Okay. It's like a very refined version of it, because quite often when people start the wheelbarrow, they do this and the horse is over here,
Right.
right? So instead of pulling everything, you just go, we are going there, and you push the turn rather than pull it.
Right. I
That's
found-
what the wheelbarrow teaches you.
Right. I still feel like
This-
one would be push and one would be pull with the bridge. I didn't feel like there was too many.
And see, they should both be pushed with the wheelbarrow. So that means you weren't doing it.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
You have to push with both, right? You can't push with that one and pull with that one.
Right.
Your wheelbarrow will tip.
Right, right,
Okay.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I said I was doing it wrong. I get one
Okay.
hit and I'm like, no, well, wait a minute, this one's pulling it up, and it wasn't working. But
Okay.
with the bridge, I felt like both hands were pushing
Yes.
and following.
Lucky you're here.
Yes.
I mean, wheelbarrow hell for the rest of your life.
I
But here's the discipline is to not do this.
know. Right.
You have to sit here and change it.
Yeah.
Not pull it across your horse's neck. Right?
So
It stays here.
is this what all the dressage teachers, trainers, for them trying to teach me how to give? Is this the give? Kind of? No, is it the wheelbarrow is the give? No?
It's all direction. Give is when you do that.
Oh, okay.
You were striking. Give one rein, it's not a trap.
Okay, so it's about the trap. Okay.
This one is test the balance,
Linda,
test self-carriage.
so with the bridge, if I understand it right, it's a way of keeping your hands in the correct
Under
position.
control.
So if you were without
Not even
the
correct
bridge,
position, it's under control.
without the bridge, then you have a tendency to pull. Okay, so this is keeping you
Controlled.
How much
Because
tension?
we don't realize no tension. Don't even think about it.
But there shouldn't be any.
Maybe not the right word, but.
Yeah, but you're not trying to stretch it here. You're just positioning the bridge. Don't think about tension.
So that's just preventing you from slipping away.
It stops this, stops this, stops
Okay.
this. You
So,
can't
'cause
do all
A lot
that
of people
stuff.
were holding them out tight, so I wasn't sure like how we were supposed to be or not.
You don't want to be here. Arms down, hands in front of you, little bridge. Position the bit.
And then focus on not lifting it up either, right? Hands have to be there.
Keep your arms down.
You say about 4 inches of bridge.
Yeah, that's like 8.
We need a ruler for you, Becky.
Because if it's too long,
We need reins.
if it's too long, you can still move your hands around too much. If the bridge is too long.
Yeah.
Right, too big. So 4 inches is ideal. 6 inches if you have a saddle horn, because that'll be in the way, right? But not 10 inches, 8 inches, 24 inches. No, that's horrible for horses. And it's not good for your position either.
What are you
This-
doing?
So yeah, so let's practice the bridge first. Hold it there. So let's say you hold your reins like this, and you can put all 4 fingers around it, or you can put the first 3. It's your preference, okay? And then thumbs hold the top of the reins. This is where your strength is in your thumbs. If you have tight fingers, your wrists get tight, your arms get tight, your shoulders get tight, and horses hate it. And what we're trying to do is give them a nice soft feeling from our hands. Doesn't mean they get to abuse us. Soft doesn't mean wimpy, not a leader. Soft is a beautiful feeling. It's like if we were walking holding hands, we want it to feel like this, right? Not like this. Have you ever, my ex used to hold my hand up like that. I'm like, just relax your arm, and he didn't even realize he was holding my hand up like that, and I couldn't walk because it affects your ability to move, right? So if people are too wimpy, too tight, too stiff in their arms, it doesn't feel good. It's got to feel, ooh, what's that word? Connection. It's got to feel like a connection. So I'm connecting with my horse mentally, emotionally, and physically through the reins, and only the most sensitive part of their emotions. So now when I want a bridge, I just do this. And put this on top. So I've got 2 reins held like that.
And the rest,
you
the
want
rest
on
of
top.
it
There's my bridge.
It's a
It
looped
just-
underneath.
underneath.
This is how bridges are normally done.
Right, double.
With
Right,
2.
that's what
It's
I
hard to
do.
do
Like
that
for
with
jumping
rope.
and
It's
stuff
hard to
like
do
that
that with
and-
these reins though.
That's what I.
Yeah, but that makes it very stiff in between your hands. You just need a little governor.
So I'll just grab
So
So
this part.
basically, yeah, like that, exactly, like that.
Yep.
So these are together. Okay.
Much easier.
So
It's
just a
different
single
feeling
bridge.
with the rope reins because they don't.
They're so thick.
Yeah, because they're so fat. So if you wanted to try, I
But
do
that's
have
a
extra
bridge.
reins if you wanted to try regular reins.
And you hold it with your thumbs. Fingers are soft, but they're closed. They're not open.
So should I try leather reins?
Still do it with that.
I love how
But I
it
could-
clarifies what you're saying to the horse.
Yeah.
It just, you are consistent,
Yeah.
you're not, you know,
Yeah.
it-
Yeah, because when it's like,
Right.
the horse is like, I don't know. But if you
No,
just
I-
go,
that's
here are the
fine,
train
yeah.
tracks,
I loved it.
stay on the tracks, stay in the tracks, you know? And it's not much. It's not like, it's really subtle. Really subtle.
And it engages the hind end so much more.
Yeah,
That was
because they go
crazy.
to the bit.
Are you gonna talk about the tongue releases and
Yeah,
that
we'll do that
kind of
tomorrow.
thing? Okay.
I have a question about this. So if I change to, if I'm doing this correctly with them, with these, and I switch to my leather reins, there shouldn't be any difference on him if I do it correctly. So it's not about the rein at all, how heavy it is on his nose, or down or, okay.
Those are just more refinement.
How do you manage the contact? So I noticed that like when I started, a couple of times I felt it, and so I could feel when it was right. But then sometimes I felt like one side of the rein got looser than the other.
And it will, because the horse doesn't
Right.
know to take the contact. Most horses defended themselves,
Right.
and
Yeah.
not wanted contact. You might find this afternoon they start looking for it.
Okay.
But if not, tomorrow we're going to start moving forward on how to teach horses contact, how to teach you. But first of all, I got to get your appendages under control. I got to get this quiet, have you thinking about lines and precision and riding like a leader. And then we can start playing with all these other more intricate pieces, like contact. You know. It's not easy to do well.
I don't think it's. I think you're overanalyzing
Alright.
it.
Not Tula.
No, never me.
Just keep it simple. But what you really want to try and have is symmetry in your reins, not one long, one short. When you're at 12 o'clock, they should be equal. And not super tight. Short, but not tight, right? And then the horse will start looking for it. But you just do it here, not here, not here, not... Just right here.
Tula, I did a
Beautiful thing.
California roll and then just had it in one
And then
hand.
let go of one hand, yeah.
Just think of your California
Okay.
roll and then just put it in one hand.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
your,
And then
Grab it with the right, and then take your left and slide it.
Okay,
Other
listen,
way.
you guys...
exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
She
it's
got
just
it.
like, hold your reins and grab one end.
She just had to figure it out.
Yeah, good. You're doing it all night.
I'm learning.
Isn't that, I was gonna say, isn't that what
it's
we're all
hard.
trying to do?
You're gonna sleep well tonight.
Yeah. But once you got it, you got it. Okay, so I want you to pair up and play with that. And don't talk to your horse. You can just go. See, if your horse needs to go more forward. But don't start discussing things, because this is a simulation and your horse can only use its body language to communicate with what's going on. So if your horse isn't doing it, that's feedback. Right? So how do you change it? So play with it, and then I'll help you. We'll debrief it and do it again if we need to. This is where you're going to improve yourself for this afternoon.
With that experience.
Can I favor one ride over another?
Here, you guys want to
Okay.
use some bits and reins?
yeah.
Come on.
Sandy?
Absolutely.
Hold the bit itself.
Oh,
Remember to hold the bit like this.
Yeah.
you can use
Hold the mouthpiece.
The horse or the rider?
I did my California roll. What do you want me to do?
A little bit short. Don't be so short. Go back.
There. Now I got it, because I need to have at least, here, so I. Hey, you should Linda not me.
No, the cane.
She's
I
probably
have to
better
look
off.
because I can't see, like you normally could with your horse.
Put my sunglasses on.
No more.
Hey, is she holding them right? She needs help.
Something wrong with my
Tossing my head. Okay, California roll.
Oh.
Really? Yeah.
I just want to feel like hold, like yeah, go to the right or
Okay,
pick a
that's
direction.
interesting. Oh, that,
You know what I mean? I just want to feel.
I didn't get to, I
Did you not click?
was not
not click?
moving.
Oh, she clicked, sorry.
So your reactions were bigger than I anticipated, so my
Sensitive
hands
horse.
would probably asked it. Yeah, a sensitive horse. We're
Very
asking
responsive.
more than I realized. And it made me think about the fact that in order to get him to turn, I had to go like this to get him to respond to that at one point. So how that must have felt. Wow. Like, I really just need to wait. Like wait. And wait for him to like, I'm gonna hold this for a moment. but you're much more.
I had my eyes closed too.
But my awareness of it might change his responsiveness too. So, do you want to try it?
One's too short, one's too long.
Yeah. Oh.
Where you want to go?
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's his head stall though, but it doesn't look like it.
Okay, but you keep dropping me. I know, I think we're just not going the same speed. Okay, so, but if you're on Zorro, you have to, your reins have to match what he's doing, not what you. So what I'm doing is. Do not, that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
She had her CDs down.
You had it bridged, right? I did. Yeah. It's amazing how little it takes, right? To turn me. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Like that.
So what I'm doing is, this is different, yeah.
Right. Here, hold it again. I'm gonna do like what I was doing before what I got yelled at for.
Okay.
I guess, so what am I just?
Alright, so I was taking my outside rein and bringing it forward and dragging the horse around on the circle like this. And then I guess the horse let it go. I don't have my hands shaping this. And then if she doesn't now I lost the contact.
Yeah, that's what I was right to say.
So when they go slow, she can
Okay. Yeah, right. So now Linda, can you clarify something?
I'm sorry, I'm the problem guy. Problem horse.
You're not the only problem.
Like the feel I got was there was a lot of pull, and then she showed me what her hands were doing.
And I was going like this.
Whatever.
Too much. It's very slight.
Right, and even when I did it slight, like this,
Let's have a look.
so.
Relax your arms. Okay.
So she says she doesn't feel like, okay. Ah, okay.
No, I'm moving like this.
But I think it's this. I think it's.
And I kept it there.
That's right. That's right. Don't make turns all the time. Feel it. Then plan your next move.
Yeah, that feels really even.
Great.
Okay.
Don't do too much, eh?
Whoa.
Close your fingers. Don't let your fingers grow open. Keep
Okay.
them closed but soft.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel like a moving contest when I do that.
Outside.
Meaning you were doing this, and then all of a sudden I was this.
Yeah. Is that because you can't feel me that way?
Oh, I didn't have my thumbs up.
All right?
Yeah.
Yes. But then I lost the contact there. All right. Now this way.
Are we switching already?
Yeah, see, the contact gets lost, and that's.
Yeah, I see that.
I was actually asking that question because I felt that with my push.
Okay. So, yeah.
That old thing.
Yes. Yes. Change because it's very subtle. You're not. Just a little long.
Alright, so this feels heavy.
Your elbows down. More like this. Got it. Yeah, let me try.
It felt really heavy.
Arms relaxed. Please.
We were doing that.
You don't want to slack though, right?
Right.
So I was
I felt
I
like,
feel like you're taking it and then you're releasing and then you're taking it.
Well, because when I get the direction I want, then I'm gonna take it, right?
relax your arms, Wendy, and you're too close to your horse. Make
Oh,
your reins longer.
okay.
There you go.
I was too close.
And your hands need to be like that.
Okay.
Then you can see your bridge.
Just kind of falling
out at the Very good.
Now what?
Oh, there we go.
Want to eventually.
Think about where you want to go. You just tilt. Don't go faster than your horse.
Again, I feel like you're giving it, and then you're kind of releasing too much.
But you're going too fast.
I'm going too
Wendy,
fast?
yes.
Oh.
Let the horse take you more.
Okay, so she's got to just take me more.
Like you're going faster than her, and then she feels nothing, right?
Okay, and I
Well,
feel
she
like,
says she feels it. She
I
just
feel-
says,
I
I
feel
feel
like
like I give it to her after I
yes,
give.
like she's not holding it
Yeah.
steady. She
That's
kind of,
because-
that's gentle.
So I'm walking too fast
Yeah,
for you.
that's
It
fine.
is gentle, and then I feel like I lose it, you know?
okay, yeah.
And then I feel like I need to go this way, but oh, they didn't go in that way.
I have to walk slower, that's all.
Okay.
Does that feel okay?
Yeah. Again, it was
I'm
like,
asking exactly where you're going. I'm walking too fast for that. I need to slow down. Okay. You have to continue walking.
okay,
I have to slow down.
yeah. I feel right, left, right, left, right, left. That's what I mean, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's because we're also walking on uneven ground, but I don't know.
This was our line.
Like I don't feel like
No, I think my nose is my nose is still.
Okay.
So your hands are muted. And I just started without you. So.
That's okay.
These look like your home movies from your honeymoon.
That's right.
Is the audio off?
It's on her microphone.
Okay. Because there's some really good dialogue going on between the participants and I didn't feel it. That I felt it too much.
I can do if you want to drop it. Thank you.
Sure.
Close your eyes. You get a better feel.
Change the position. Not up and not high. Look. Not up, down. Left hand down. Oh, let them stay down. Let them stay down. That's it. Yeah. Let them stay down. Yeah. Good.
And we're done. We'll give her, did she get us? Yes.
Oh, yeah, your eyes shut. Yes. Yeah. Really problem solving. Yeah. Opposed to technique.
No,
not part of the game. It's just kind of progression. Without the feel.
When I found things like Genesis 28,
Oh, yeah. It's done. To me, it was kind of,
like,
to me, I felt like you were just going to be.
Warm, huh?
Oh my God.
And then it would show up at higher speed.
Yeah, no.
Because I guess
So when I slowed down, it made a big difference, walking wise, because she was feeling that back and forth, like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, your horse has to go ahead of you.
Yes,
If your horse isn't going, you got nothing.
right.
Yeah, and then you follow the horse.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that's what happens when we push horses. They feel nothing in the front, and they just feel pushed, and they don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah. It's
Huge.
good feedback from my horse.
Huge.
I was walking too fast.
Rest your hands, Maggie. Rest them. Yes.
But it could have also been that if you weren't walking too fast, it could be the person doing, the human doing, like, giving
Give and take. you
Give and
mean?
take.
Yeah.
too much, so I kept on losing.
Yeah, and don't do give and take. Don't do give and take.
But that's what it felt like to her when I was walking too fast.
Yes, because you
Right. Because I'm a little bit
You're ahead of
into
her.
it, and then she goes forward, and then it pulls on her again, so it's like that feeling.
Yeah, and the smoothest is you got to feel them taking you.
Mm-hmm.
really notice a difference, huh?
But that doesn't mean taking off.
No, no, no.
But it just means they're going forward.
Yeah.
Important point to remember.
Yeah. So what did you learn? What did you discover?
I am really tense.
When
I'm stopping, I'm like, I'm gonna drop the reins. I can't. It's just easy.
That if they reins didn't stay even, I really felt, as the horse, I felt like, what the hell?
You got lost.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And why are you letting go? And
Yeah.
Yep.
Where did you go?
Yep.
And that's what happens when we try to be light for the horse. The horse is like, I don't know.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Be light.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
Horses, they prefer firmer rather than lighter contact. Now, no horse likes stiff, tight arms, hands. No, it doesn't matter if it's light or heavy. They can't stand it. You got to have that soft feeling, elastic feeling in your arms and your hands. No tension. It's only the hardest thing on the planet. And I keep, I mean, obviously I'm trying to help people everywhere with this same thing, and it's really hard. Everyone has a lot of trouble with it. And I as a teacher, I keep trying to figure out, like, what's the real problem? And I figure there's two. Because if there's a brace in the body, there's a brace in the mind. So what's the mental brace? And either it's you're unconfident, which is natural. If you're learning, you're like, I don't know what to do, so then you get tight. Or you're forcing. You're making it happen. Like you're a control freak.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's right. But they're the two reasons that I think we get tight. Is confidence, you're unsure or you're scared, you're unsure of what you're doing, or that you're a control freak and you're trying to make the horse do things. And it's subconscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not something that's top of mind, it's subconscious. So I don't know that I have the right thing to help you make the breakthrough, but I'll just keep throwing all that stuff at you. But if you put your little fingers up and rest on the reins a little bit, and then use your elbows to make the adjustments, life changes for the horse. When you lift your hands up high, when they're like this, it feels horrible to a horse. And we'll do more simulations like that tomorrow. Don't need to blow you up on that one today.
That's a biggie though.
It's huge. It's huge. And that's where, like, your headlights, you got to shine them there, not into the ground.
Yeah.
So all those little pieces help. Would you just hold this? You can sit. You can sit down. It's fine. So everybody thinks that turning has to be a big deal. And we want to pull the reins and do all of that. But really, all you do is let pressure off one side by doing that. And then the horse starts to trust and follow it. But why they don't take it is because we're tight here.
Yeah, it's
Right?
more giving than pulling.
Yeah.
That's what I found
Direct,
this
right?
morning.
12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. It's tiny. Tiny. If you've got long reins, then yes, big, smooth movements. But once you start riding with contact, it's tiny. Right. So now a lot of us want to do this and be tight somewhere, and of course the horse feels it. But if you can think about, let my hands rest on the reins, and then just turn my little fingers up a little bit, and then position a bit. Just 2 things, people.
That's too many.
2 more. And this is a work in progress, right? This is art. This is not basic riding. You're like working up on those high levels now. So you've got to learn about these things, and this is part of body control and rider position. So let's work a little bit on having softer arms. So we're going to do a little simulation. And I want you to hold my thumbs. Now, I'm going to go, you're squeezing my thumb. Soft. Make it nice. Alright, so give me Chinese thumb trap. Okay, so I'm going to hold them like this. Okay, close your fingers. You're the horse. Right? I'm going to hold them like this. So there should be no funny pressure anywhere. Like if I squeeze, it feels horrible, right? Like that. So I'm going to hold them very softly and relax. Okay. And now you're going to be the horse, and you're going to move back and forth. No, your arms. Sorry.
Like that?
Anywhere. Slow. Slow. And what I have to learn is to go with that, right? Because if I brace or tighten, you're going to go, oh, I can't move. So I've got to find, and the only way I can do that is to rest my hands. If you turn your fingers up a little bit, I can hold your thumbs easier, okay?
Sorry, she's coming through.
Sorry, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. So, it's soft.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm resting. Like if you jerked your hands away, my hands should fall. Like if you dropped out, that should happen. But we go like, okay? So I'm going to rest a little bit on her hands, be loose here, and then she'll tighten.
Okay, so how do you
Yeah,
do
but-
that when you're also saying, I want you to go over here, stay on my
This is a
line?
simulation to teach you
Oh,
about
okay,
your
okay.
stiff arms.
Not
Okay,
controlling your
okay.
arm.
Not control.
Alright.
If you can learn how to have this feeling in your arms, then directing your horse is going to be easy,
Yeah.
right? Because there's no resistance. Like if I start directing the horse like this, you can feel the tension. So
Yeah.
what you want to do is learn how to relax your hands on the horse, on the rein. Relax your arms on the reins. And then the horse is going to move around and test your ability to trust and relax your arms, right? Rest on me. Rest on me. There we go. No, rest on me. Let me move you. No, don't pick up your arms. Let me pick them up. Let me pick them up. Ah. That's it.
That's so difficult for humans.
Oh
We
my
use
God,
our
it's only
hands
the
all the time. They
secret
control
of
everything.
contact. Yeah, is to be able to let go like that, to be soft.
It's the resting though versus trying to be light. There's a big difference.
And it'll feel a little heavy to you, and you'll go, "Is that how it should feel on the reins?" Like, this is not about that. I'm teaching you this. But hands are heavy when they're like this. When they're like that, they're not. Right? So if you just keep your hands up so you can feel me, right? So this is my little fingers up, but I'm resting on you. Now I'm going to put them flat and rest on you.
Yeah.
It's double the weight. And when I do this, I'm not lifting them up. I've just positioned my little fingers up and my hand is lighter. But
Why
there's
is that?
nothing in my hands. It's magic.
It is magic.
But it is. Like if you pulled your hands away, my hands would drop. But if I was holding them up,
Yeah.
I have to let go of this. And it's really letting go of control in some ways. Okay, here I'm gonna try. Don't talk too much. Try to feel it. And then talk a little bit. Don't keep talking because you won't feel.
I'm thinking that I'm trying to get it in my mind why it's lighter this way and
created a rule for myself just now that I'm thinking that there is something heavy. I mean, I'm releasing something from my palm.
Andy, wanna do it?
Sure. Yeah. And then when I here, they can't get up.
I don't know who's. Who do you want to be?
I wanna be the thumbs.
That's the horse.
So, of course.
I just wanted to see if your hands would fall.
What do you want to be?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wait, yes.
All right. Let's do this step by step. Don't hold it up.
It's not about the
Not there. I was trying to lead this dance.
There. There.
But yours went like this, that's why my hand went that way. You know what I'm saying?
So is it more about the grip or the softness? That doesn't matter.
Not there.
That's pretty soft. That's a way to hold it.
Yeah, and I'm closing my eyes so I don't do that.
Think of me over there.
There's no hope.
There is. Okay, next time again. You're probably be.
So when her hands do, like, so, like, my hands
You're not going fast enough.
Maybe. Let's try it. Let's try it. Don't break my thumbs.
Okay.
There. That worked though.
All right. So
Now let's do medium.
medium. All right.
Okay.
All right. Medium.
I noticed that.
That was interesting.
Why is that? I'm just impatient. Is that it? Some kind of.
Could I weigh in here?
That was very interesting.
It feels some troubling psychological profile. I mean, I
You'll have to play with this later.
I know. I totally believe in, like the whole ask and wait. I think I gotta work on wait.
Yeah, and then the talk. We get talk.
That was really interesting.
Oh my God.
It's actually letting your shoulders out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting the inner control freak go. What did you discover? Come on back.
What are you guys laughing at?
Come on back.
I need a new hobby.
But what we found was really
Go trail riding. I don't want contact.
what we found is Angie had a hard time being soft when I was slow. And then she says, I don't know, maybe we gotta go faster. So I said, let's just try it. So we went really fast and then slowed it down and she was able to do it. So it was an interesting experiment.
Like we were talking about earlier, the ask and the pause, that moment. I don't think I have that moment.
I choose to be tight.
Tight and immediate.
But good. I mean, finding a way, because that's what this exercise was about, is the self-awareness and, oh my God, what do I have to let go of to be able to do that? What else did you learn? Or discover?
You really do need to, you need to lean on the reins.
Rest on them.
Rest on them, yeah. If you, like you said, if I hold my hands up, I have no feeling, or he has no feeling whatsoever, because I'm holding myself.
Yeah, it's blocked.
It's blocked.
And that same thing if your elbows are straight.
Yeah.
All the weight's going down like this. It's a force. Or if your hands are like that, it's all going down. And the only way to stop that is to lift them. And now you've got no softness and elasticity in your contact. And horses don't want the contact then. We've got to help them become confident in that. And so learning how to master our bodies and our arms is it. And our emotions, because there's mental emotional things tied to it that we don't even know, that are subconscious. Anything else you discovered? Did you try the difference between this and this?
Yeah.
Shocking, isn't it?
No, we didn't do that.
Being too light is not good either.
No.
That was too light.
Yeah. That resting is the key, and then using your elbows. That's the key. And the bridge stops your hands going crazy. Easy.
Not the most sensitive part of the horse.
What could possibly go wrong? But it starts to make you realize why horses have such trouble with contact. Right?
It was.
Ladies, do it quiet. Sorry. Well, you start to realize why horses have trouble with contact. It's because it doesn't feel nice to hold your hand. And we have to learn that. To have that level of feel and softness. You know, everyone in the natural horsemanship world talks about a soft feel. And most people misinterpret it that the horse is going to give you a soft feel, which basically means don't push on the bit. Be soft on the bit. But the soft feel has to come from you. You have to be soft here in your mind and your emotions and your body. Still have structure and direction, but a softness. And then horses, they want to cuddle you. All right. Any questions or further comments?
I had one when Christian and I were doing the exercise earlier before. So I was trying to incorporate what you had talked about giving the outside rein, like matching up the two. And then it was interesting how little it took. And if it wasn't instant, we would give more and then the slack would show up. So by how little and then just waiting really fixed that.
Exactly. Wait for the horse to go. Oh.
Yeah, because I was uncomfortable. I told you I was uncomfortable with the amount of slack that it showed up when it was that I was not waiting. I was just plowing ahead.
Dropping it.
Yeah.
Plowing ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone feel like riding, or you want to go take a nap?
I think we all want to ride.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. You should take very little on the ground, unless your horse is crazy. To make sure they're connected, relaxed, responsive, and confident. Might take you 30 seconds, might take you a minute. And when you ride, you're starting with the focus on harmony. I'm doing this, how about you? And if they blow you off, you go, hey. And then it's stuck again, right? But don't be in a hurry to do it. Give the horse a choice. 3 seconds is maximum. 2 seconds is about right. But don't wait longer than 3 seconds, because then the horse goes, can't remember what we were doing. Right?
Or he'll fill in.
Or yeah, it'll take over. So when you ask the horse to do something, wait for a couple of seconds to see if he'll do it. And if you feel him going in that direction, keep waiting. If you feel him going in a different direction or not trying, then you fix it and start again. But it needs to be soft, right? Now, did some of you feel it where your horses didn't turn? And then when that happens with your horse, don't keep going where the horse wants to go, because now he's pulling you. You have to go, we're turning, not going straight. So you hold this here until he turns. It'll slow him down, it'll probably stop him. He cannot go past that turn off of the highway. Right?
And we're not using any other like aids other than our bodies are neutral,
Going forward.
but turning as
And try to think about riding somewhere, not just going around going, what's my bridge doing? Just think about, I want to go to that bush. Oh, that's about 2 o'clock. And adjust your bridge and therefore your bit to 2 o'clock. And everything is slow. Do everything on valiant. So then horses can get confident and they can relax and all that emotional stuff will go away.
So we shouldn't be doing any of that, like, drag thing.
You
Unless
might
yes.
have to hold that
Yes.
strong, but it's because he's pushing, you're not pulling.
Yeah.
It's
But
like
I'm still
it's
trying
like
to keep the bridge where we are going, right?
yes,
And not just,
but you don't let it go.
yeah.
Like you don't let him take it.
Yeah.
He's got to feel like I can't do it. Oh, now I can do it.
Yeah.
But if he can take you, then you're teaching him to push and take you instead of feel for where to go.
And if I'm making him do it, he's not getting it.
The problem is not that he's not turning. The problem is that he's well, it is that he's not turning, but that he's pushing on you instead of following you.
Yeah.
And you give him the choice, and you hold and wait for him. And he's like, you cannot push through that. Good.
So-
Now we'll go again.
And our shoulders turn automatically with the bridge, but
Automatically. If
What-
your elbows are down,
what about the rest of our headlights? Should they not be
don't
turning?
even think about it.
Don't even worry about it.
You have enough to think about.
Okay.
This is true. You're just learning how to use the bridge and position the bit. That's basically it. And to ride like a leader. That's plenty.
So we're kind of breaking it into little smaller parts and not
Mhm.
do everything at the same time.
And keep it simple. Don't go and try to do all fancy stuff. If you have trouble at the trot, don't trot. If it's going great at the walk and you try the trot and it falls apart, come back to the walk. Don't go, I'm gonna bloody make this, figure it out. Don't do that. Your horse will have trouble. Just go, alright, it's too soon. Come back to the walk, play with it, have a rest, think about it, analyze what's going wrong. I'll be there. If you have trouble, please slide by. Don't avoid me, because I can probably help you. But try to figure it out first of all, because you will have some things going, oh, I'm not resting. Oh, I'm tight. Oh, my elbows are straight. Oh, that's all going to start happening. And you don't need more input. You need now to feel it and experiment with it. And then I'll rescue you if you're really stuck and not sure. Okay. Okay. All right. I will see you in next.